Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Camber podcast. It's TC back here for episode 17. We are reviewing the Imola Grand Prix weekend. This is Monday night after the Grand Prix. So in Australia, we had the Grand Prix at 11 p.m. and this is Monday night afterwards. So let's literally get straight into it. I reckon it delivered out of 10 off the bat, off the rip. All right, our first number that comes to mind, I'd say, is a 7 out of 10. And I think it's one of those races that delivered from Imola. Like, I was like, yeah, this is good. We're seeing a lot of action. Perhaps didn't go my way as a McLaren fan, but I think for Imola as a whole, good performance, good on-track action. And it was interesting the whole weekend. The track looked great. How good do the fans and a packed out like arena-like setting look in Formula One? So bloody good stuff there. 7 out of 10 for me. I think, limited overtaking, but for an Imola race, beautiful. So let's just tuck straight into it. All right. The driver standings, updated driver standings, Piastri reduces his championship lead by 3 points. So he's only up 13 on Norris now. Verstappen edges closer to both Norris and Piastri as he won, obviously. So those three clear cut from the rest. Russell dropped back a little bit, but he's still hanging in there. So for starters, qualifying was a very, very interesting qualifying. It was great to watch. Let's get straight into those results. Where are we? So let's talk through Q. So Sonoda, two big stories. Sonoda crash. Colapinto crash, huge, because Sonoda was interesting. I initially thought that Sonoda bottomed out, but I don't think so. After the session, he did say that he was just pushing way too hard, and obviously that's just not necessary coming from a car that, you know, you shouldn't need to push on that first lap like that to go and wreck. I mean, it was a huge crash. I mean, just goes to show how good the safety is in F1 now that a driver can have a roll like that and just walk away. So that was incredible. But huge mistake for Sonoda. I mean, he's had a few races now, and it's pretty disappointing that he's going to be making those mistakes. That's what I'll say. So what can I say there? Otherwise, who else performed? Aston Martin. Holy shit. The green tractor has come out to play. I mean, they were both comfortably in Q3. Ferraris were out. Don't know what happened to their one lap pace. That was in the bin. Gasly was also quick. So it was a really, really interesting qualifying, I think. Kimi didn't have a good weekend. So it was a little bit, disappointing that, at least going into the race last night that we had, Kimi, Antonelli, the hometown hero, and both the Ferraris were absolutely nowhere, at least in qualifying. I mean, they turned around in the race, but in qualifying, they were nowhere. So, as I said, Williams were also quick, which I also predicted, which I was happy about. Russell was also up there. Verstappen got pipped, but Piastri, I feel like, was going to get pole anyway because his last lap was obstructed by traffic. So if it wasn't, I reckon, he could have potentially gone a 10th faster. I honestly thought Verstappen was going to get him at the line on that last lap. But Piastri did really well to pull that qualifying. Norris, he was quick like Q1, Q2, but I'm not sure what happened to him in Q3. I mean, probably if the race didn't go how it did, you'd say he'd be pretty disappointed because he was a very good chance of losing more points to Piastri in the championship this weekend. So he did well in the race to recover that. Obviously, Behrman, Colapinto. Behrman got dogged by the timing, the display boards on the track. He had an issue where he finished the lap. And from his perspective, it was still green. The track was still green, but they had already thrown the red flag, so his lap got tossed. And that's what happened to him. Tsunoda obviously started from the pit lane. But yeah, the Ferraris, both of them out. I mean, Hadjar is doing an incredible job willing that car into Q3. He also had a great race, so definitely happy with his performance. And Sainz out-qualified Albon. So yeah, it was a very interesting qualifying, I think, and I think that's sort of what was going to be important for this weekend anyway. We needed to have a good qualifying for the weekend to be more interesting, as the racing wasn't going to be as exciting based on the track layout. So otherwise, good qualifying overall, I'd say. Now, let's move on to the race results. Very, very, very disappointed in Oscar. I mean, holy shit. That was highly disappointing. Verstappen, an absolute dominating drive, a legendary overtake into T1. And yeah, he literally just punched Piastri in the jaw, just clocked him, mate. Just uppercutted him in turn one. Piastri lost his gonads, and Verstappen ran away with it. I mean, not only that, it was McLaren as well. Like, McLaren and Piastri wrote up a freaking full-blown book on how to throw away a race, because that was piss poor. I mean, the fact that he lost... First of all, Piastri lost that move into turn one. Okay, whatever. Maybe they recover. Then, 15 laps into the race, Piastri... At least this is what was shown on the broadcast. Piastri, throws up. Oh, tyres are starting to struggle. Immediately, what do? Box him, put him out into traffic. So his whole second stint was just passing blokes to go back to further back than what he was. And then obviously he did get unlucky with the VSC, but what was the foresight going on with McLaren there? I mean, throwing him out into traffic like that, like, just silly stuff. I mean, all they had to do was just ride that stint out a little longer and obviously see the medium tyres through, because though that 5-lap period between lap 10 and 15, the mediums were struggling. And then obviously they came around, which sometimes does happen. Obviously, I can't say shit. I'm not a bloody F1 driver, but from what we could see from the race, the medium tyres came on again, and Verstappen and Norris were able to persist with those tyres and keep them going for the rest of the desired stint. And that literally ruined Piastri's race, let alone the pit stops were also slow. Both of Piastri's pit stops were over 3 seconds. You just can't make this stuff up, mate. Bloody ridiculous. So, highly disappointed. But objectively, a ripping drive from Verstappen, an absolute gun move into turn one, caught Piastri by surprise. So, insane stuff. Albon also almost got on the podium, but the Ferraris, what a recovery. Used the safety cars, pit at the right times, and drove their asses off to get back through, made some good overtakes, and that was extremely impressive to scoop a 4th and a 6th. I mean, even Leclerc had a little bit of a scuffle with Albon, so redressed that position, but it could have easily been a 4th and a 5th, but a 4th and a 6th after both qualifying outside the top 10. Super impressive stuff. Sainz also with a good drive. I thought his pace was awesome. Got a bit dogged by the safety car, but that's racing. Hadjar, he was running hot. Beautifully done by him. Tsunoda, also a good race to sneak into the last point of the points. But Aston Martin, how disappointing for them. I mean, they didn't really put a foot wrong for the whole race. The whole weekend. I mean, they were a banger team the whole weekend. They did everything what they planned to do. Their car had excellent pace. Alonso was running comfortably 5th. and they just got dogged by the safety car. They just got dogged hard, and super disappointing that they just didn't. Lonzo's still under 0, so he will be extremely disappointed in that. But mate, all for 26 for them. So insane stuff. Sad to see Kimi DNF. Both Ocon and Kimi DNF'd at the same spot, but obviously the difference being Antonelli was further up the road, so they had to get a crane in to get him out of the track, get the car out of the track, and that's why they pulled out that safety car. Ocon just caused that VSC because they were able to just roll him out through a escape gate in the track. So otherwise, Hadjar really standout drive. And the Ferraris, I'd say. Williams did well to get both in the points. Probably could have finished a bit higher up though. But a little bit of safety car to do with that. So overall good. Verstappen just literally perfect race from Verstappen. I mean, he did get lucky with the safety cars, but still, he just ran a perfect race. I mean, even when they were in the middle of stints, he was still pulling gaps. So once he shot out in front, mate, the McLarens were not catching. So disappointing from the McLaren boys, but they're pulling away in the constructors. They've furthered their lead, so they're doing all right for themselves. Predictions. So this is funny. This is hilarious. So pole for Russell. I mean, look, he was quick. He did have a problem with the car. The race was a little bit disappointing for them. So obviously don't score a point there. Norris to win. I mean, he did beat Piastri, but obviously just didn't qualify well enough to be in contention for a win there. So that's another L. Class drive, Kimi. Mate, I should just fucking retire predictions. This is awful. Just extremely awful from TC here. Every week I'm just like, oh yeah, this will be all right. And then it's just no. Everyone thinks they're good at predictions until you got to put it on camera and actually see what happens without changing. And then you'll realize, oh shit, it's actually tough. So Kimi, nowhere. I mean, he didn't even have a decent qualifying. So Kimi all round, nowhere near class drive. But there is a but. There's always a but. Colapinto, not that he ran a terrible race. He had a run wide weekend. Crashing on debut when you've been subbed in for someone and you've got a 5-race contract is not the way to start it. I mean, you can compare with Tsunoda all you want, but Colapinto crashing like that is not a good play. You just can't be doing that, buds. You just cannot. So, and I think when Colapinto's at his best, he definitely deserves a spot on the grid. So hopefully he can turn around and just head down, block out the noise, and just keep the shit moving. But yeah, bloody hell. TC, mate, he couldn't predict results if they were printed out in front of him. Bloody hell. So yeah, that's sort of the main takeaways from the weekend. I think that the FIA going with the C6 tyre was definitely a good option and definitely made the race more interesting because we got these varying strategies that caused mishaps like Piastri and blunders and unlucky situations like what happened to Aston. So definitely a good move by the FIA. Making sure that there's more variance, and that's a great thing. So, and we definitely want different weekends where the McLaren guys aren't just winning. I mean, as a McLaren fan, I'd love that, but we know that everyone doesn't want that, and that's fine. That's great. We love that because we want the championship decided in Abu Dhabi. That's the play. I'm telling you, come on. We want this decided on the last race. That's what we'd love. We want it to be like 2021 again. We want that rivalry. So this is good. It's shaping up to be an excellent year. So I'm super keen. Make sure you let me know what you guys think about this weekend. Tell me your thoughts on this type of track. and yeah, have a good discussion. So everyone have a good week, reset. We come back from Monaco, and we'll have our review up as usual before practice. And yeah, have a good weekend, guys.